She never expected anyone to notice when she collapsed on that cold office floor, especially not the billionaire everyone feared. But the moment he knelt beside her, everything changed. For him, for her, and for everyone watching. Rumors spread, loyalties cracked, and her entire life twisted in ways she never imagined. And yet, that same girl is the one you're about to see standing in front of the world tonight. Before the applause, before the award, before her name is called, you need to understand the moment that almost destroyed her. The applause hit like a wave, thunderous, blinding, overwhelming. Talia froze under the lights as her name echoed through the grand hall. Miss Talia Mireles, please step forward. Her breath caught. She hadn't expected them to call her so soon. She hadn't even prepared herself for the moment she'd dreamed of, but never believed she would see. Her fingers shook as she reached for the steps leading to the stage. Someone in the audience whispered, "Is that really her? The girl who used to clean office floors?" Another voice, "How did she get here?" If only they knew. Talia forced a smile, but the weight of the memory pressed against her chest. Just a year ago, she'd been kneeling on a cold office floor, scrubbing coffee stains and praying no one noticed how swollen her eyes were from crying. Tonight, the world noticed everything. As the presenter held out the award, Talia's vision blurred, not from tears, but from disbelief. Her lips parted. She wanted to speak. She needed to speak. But all she heard was the echo of her brother's voice in her mind. "You're going to make it out of this, Talia. One day, someone will finally see you." Someone did. But not because she was lucky, because she nearly broke first. The hall waited. Cameras waited. The world waited. Talia opened her mouth to give her acceptance speech, and her voice cracked before the first word could escape. She closed her eyes. For one breath, one heartbeat. And suddenly, she was back there. 1 year earlier, in a cramped apartment where the electricity frequently flickered, where her brother slept on a mattress with missing springs, where she held her cleaning uniform at night and muttered, "Just one more shift. Please let tomorrow be kinder." But tomorrow wasn't kinder, not until the day she met him. Before we go back to that moment, the moment everything shattered and rebuilt. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more powerful stories, and drop a comment if you're already hooked. Your support helps us keep creating these emotional journeys. Now, let's return to where her story truly began, before the award, before the applause, before the billionaire changed everything, back when Talia Mireles was just a janitor who had run out of tears. And time. Talia jerked awake to the sound of her alarm. 4:27 a.m., a time the world wasn't meant for humans, only for exhaustion and quiet desperation. She slapped the phone screen, blinked hard, and whispered to herself, "Please let today be easier." She knew it wouldn't be. Her brother, Mateo, stirred from the thin mattress on the floor. "You're heading out already?" He mumbled, voice thick with sleep. "Yeah," she whispered, stuffing her feet into worn sneakers. "I have the morning shift and the lunch shift. I'll be back before evening classes." Mateo frowned. "Tal, you barely slept." "I'll sleep when we stop drowning," she said, forcing a smile she didn't feel. She reached out and brushed a hand over his hair. "Go back to sleep. You have school." "Okay. Love you." "Love you too." She closed the apartment door gently so the hinge wouldn't squeal. She couldn't afford to annoy the landlord again. Just the thought made her stomach twist. One more warning and they'd be out on the street. The bus stop was empty except for a stray dog curled under the bench. Talia rubbed her arms against the morning cold and whispered her father's old line out of habit. Every dog has its day, but her voice wasn't hopeful. It was bitter. "Yeah, Dad. But when?" Because mine sure as hell isn't today. At the diner, she slipped into the kitchen, tied her apron, and plunged her hands into soapy water. The steam fogged her glasses. The mountain of dishes didn't shrink no matter how fast she worked. She moved like someone who'd learned the art of working while half asleep. Faster, Talia, her supervisor snapped. We open in 30. I don't pay you to daydream. I wasn't, she started, then caught herself. Arguing wouldn't feed Mateo. Yes, ma'am. By the time her shift ended, her wrists ached. She grabbed a stale muffin from the staff counter, breakfast, and walked the mile to her second job. Taking the bus would cost too much. The corporate building where she cleaned at night looked like a tower built for gods. Glass, steel, and money. Lots of money. Money she'd never have in this lifetime. She scanned her ID, slipped inside, and started her nightly routine. Empty trash bins, sanitized desks, wipe windows. It wasn't glamorous, but it was predictable. Predictable was almost comforting. Until the night it wasn't. Near 11 p.m., Talia pushed her cleaning cart down the executive floor and noticed a door slightly ajar. The nameplate read, Aidan Locke, Chief Executive Officer. She swallowed. The CEO never stayed this late, right? Employees said he left hours before sunset. Cold, ruthless, unreachable, practically a myth. She knocked softly. No response. Maybe he forgot to lock up. She nudged the door open and froze. A man stood in the center of the office, sleeves rolled up, staring at a huge table covered in sketches. Architectural, shun sketches. Clean, precise lines. Beautiful designs. Not the kind of thing a ruthless billionaire was rumored to care about. Talia gasped. The man turned sharply, eyes narrowing. He looked carved from stone, sharp jaw, tired eyes, shadows under them that hinted at years of pressure. You're not supposed to be in here, he said. Her hands shot up. I'm sorry. The door was open. I didn't know anyone was here. I just clean. I can leave. I'll leave. Please don't report me. He stared, expression unreadable. She backed toward the hallway, heart pounding. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't touch anything. You saw them, he said quietly, eyes sliding toward the sketches. Yes, but I didn't mean to intrude. Most people would have pretended not to notice. But exhaustion lowered her filter and honesty slipped out. They're beautiful, she whispered. Aidan's brow lifted. Beautiful? Yes. There's life in them. Like you were building something that mattered. Something that wasn't just, money. A strange silence settled between them. He stared at her like he was looking at another species entirely. Most people feared him, worshipped him, or wanted something from him. No one called his abandoned dreams beautiful. Talia swallowed hard. I'll go now. She grabbed her cleaning cart, ready to disappear into the hallway forever. But his voice stopped her. What's your name? She froze. Bosses in this building never asked that. They barely acknowledged janitors existed. Talia, she said softly. He nodded once, something unreadable flickering in his eyes. Good night, Talia. She pushed her cart away, heart hammering. As soon as she entered the elevator, she exhaled shakily and whispered, Why did I say all that? Oh my God. But she couldn't stop thinking about the way he looked at those sketches, like they hurt him. And she didn't know why that look stayed with her all the way home. Talia told herself she wouldn't think about the CEO again. Rich people lived in a different world. A world that didn't involve hiding overdue bills under the mattress or bargaining with grocery clerks over expired produce. She had no business remembering the look in his eyes when she complimented his sketches. But the universe didn't care what she wanted. 2 days later, she pushed her cleaning cart into the executive hallway again. She kept her head down, silently praying that his office would be empty this time. No lights. Good. She exhaled with relief and got to work, humming softly under her breath. She was wiping down a conference table when she heard a quiet voice behind her. "You hum when you're nervous." She jumped, nearly dropping her cloth. Standing in the doorway, again, was Aiden Locke. He wasn't supposed to be here this late. CEOs didn't haunt their own offices after midnight. Sorry," she stammered. "It helps me focus." "You don't have to apologize for existing," he said, stepping inside. She bit her lip. Force of habit. He watched her for a moment, gaze flicking to her wrist where a cheap rubber band held back her sleeve. "Your shift ended 20 minutes ago." "I needed the extra time," she said quickly. "Bills don't care about time." That made him pause. "Is that why you work 2 jobs?" Her eyes widened. "How do you—" "You leave here exhausted," he said simply. "It's noticeable." "Oh." She didn't know what else to say. Most wealthy people noticed only if a janitor inconvenienced them, not if she looked tired. An awkward silence stretched between them. He cleared his throat. "There's coffee, if you want some." Her jaw dropped. Coffee? In his office? Offered to her? "Oh, no, I couldn't. I'm not allowed to sit here." His lips twitched, something close to amusement. "I'm the one offering, Talia." Her cheeks warmed. "Maybe another time." She turned to leave, eager to escape before her nerves betrayed her. But the universe wasn't done testing her yet. Her foot caught on the edge of the carpet. She stumbled forward, straight into him. His hand shot out, steadying her shoulders. Her face flamed, her breath freezing in her throat. "I am so sorry," she blurted, stepping back fast enough to trip again. Aiden's mouth softened into something close to concern. "Are you hurt?" "No, just humiliated." "Accidents aren't humiliating," he said quietly. "I have them too." "You? The world's most terrifying CEO?" His brow lifted. "Terrifying?" She winced. "I mean, that's what people say. Not me." "I didn't say that." "Okay, maybe I did a little, but not in a mean way. More like, respectfully terrified?" Aiden blinked once. Then, barely, he smiled. The room suddenly felt too warm. "I should finish cleaning," she muttered, flustered. He nodded and stepped back, but his eyes lingered on her longer than necessary. She felt his gaze even after he left the room. On her walk home, she pressed a hand to her chest. "Why is my heart doing this? He's my boss. He's rich. He's impossible." The truth was simpler. She had never had someone look at her like she wasn't invisible. The next evening, when she arrived for her shift, someone had left a small bottle of wrist support cream on the janitor's supply shelf. A sticky note was attached. "For the strain, don't ignore it. A.L." Her breaths caught. Her wrist had been aching for months, but she never complained. He noticed. No one noticed things like that. She pocketed the cream and continued working, but her thoughts wouldn't stay quiet. Why was he here again? Why was he working late so often? Why did he look exhausted even when wearing a suit worth more than her monthly rent? She shouldn't wonder, but she did. A few nights later, as she emptied a trash bin near his office, she heard a voice. Aiden's. Low, sharp, frustrated. "No, I said the security protocols weren't ready. If the board ignored that, it's on them. Don't twist my words." A pause. "Of course they'll blame me. That's what they do." Another silence. "I don't care. I'll fix it myself." The call ended. She turned to leave quietly, but he spoke before she could escape. "You heard that, didn't you?" She froze. The door wasn't fully closed, sir. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop." He rubbed his forehead. "It's fine. Everyone else listens to use it against me. You just look like you want to run away." "Because I don't want to be fired," she admitted. "You won't be." His voice softened. "You're refreshingly honest." Her brows lifted. "Is that a compliment?" Yes, he said simply. She studied him for a moment. His shoulders were tense, eyes tired, jaw tight. A man who carried more than he ever said out loud. Your sketches, she said quietly. Do they help when things get heavy? He blinked, taken off guard. Sometimes. They're really good. You know that, right? He hesitated. They're from a different life. She wanted to ask what he meant, but his expression warned her not to push. Instead, she offered a small smile. Well, the person who drew them hasn't disappeared. Something flickered in his eyes. Uncertainty. Maybe hope. Before either could say more, her supervisor called her name from down the hall. Talia flinched. I have to go. Aiden nodded, but he watched her leave with an expression she couldn't decipher. That night, as she stepped into the cold air outside, she whispered to herself, why is he talking to me? Why does he care? He shouldn't. But the bigger question, the one she couldn't shake, was simple. Why did she care that he cared? Talia woke the next morning to the sound of her landlord pounding on the door. Talia! Rent was due yesterday. She shot up, heart slamming against her ribs. Mateo stirred, rubbing his eyes. I'll get it, she whispered. She cracked the door open. Mr. Harlan stood there, arms crossed, impatience radiating from his balding head down to his sockless slippers. I just need 2 more days, she said. My hours got cut last week and… not my problem. His eyes swept over the tiny apartment. 2 days. After that, I'm starting eviction paperwork. Her stomach twisted. Thank you. Don't thank me. Pay me. He walked away, muttering. She shut the door quietly, leaning her forehead against the wood. Mateo's soft voice broke the silence. Tell, is it that bad? No, she lied instantly. It's just a mix-up. He didn't believe her, but he didn't push. She forced herself into motion, grabbing her backpack for the diner job. Her body felt heavy, like she was walking underwater. But she had no choice. At the diner, she scrubbed pans as if drowning in them. Her supervisor barked orders. Customers yelled from the counter, and her feet throbbed. She tried to make it through the shift without thinking about the rent notice, or her thinning bank account, or the fact that the soles of her shoes were wearing out. During her 10-minute break, she checked her phone. A text from her brother's school. Mateo has missed his last 2 classes. Attendance warning issued. Her heart dropped. When she got home later, she found Mateo sweeping the kitchen floor, something he never did unless he was hiding something. She crossed her arms. Why didn't you go to class? He kept his focus on the broom. I covered an extra shift at the grocery store. We need the money. Mateo, no. School is your way out. You're not supposed to worry about this. Well, someone has to. You're barely sleeping, Tal. His voice broke on the last word. She swallowed hard. We'll figure it out, she whispered, pulling him close. We always do. But she didn't believe it. By the time she arrived at the corporate building for her night job, she was running on fumes. Cleaning supplies felt heavier, the hallways longer, her vision blurrier. She didn't notice Aiden watching her until she nearly walked past him. Talia. She stopped mid-step. Oh, Mr. Locke, I didn't see you. Are you all right? The question pierced something inside her. She forced a laugh. Yeah, just a long day, or week, month, life. You know. He stepped closer, studying her face. You're limping. Her eyes widened. No, I'm just tired. Talia, he said gently. That tone, the one that made her feel seen, almost broke her. It's fine, she insisted, turning away. Let me finish the floor. But as she knelt to wipe beneath his desk, a sharp cramp shot up her leg. She flinched, sucking in a breath. Aiden immediately knelt beside her. You're hurt. It's just a muscle. You shouldn't be working in this condition. She let out a shaky laugh. If I don't work, we don't eat. His jaw tightened. Anger, but not at her. Talia, you shouldn't have to live like— Please don't, she whispered. I can't cry here. He froze, eyes softening. I'm not trying to make you cry. I know, she said. That's why it almost happens. Their eyes held for a moment too long. Something unspoken pulsed between them. Dangerous, fragile. She stood quickly. I should finish this floor. He didn't stop her, but the tension lingered. Things only got worse the next day. Her cleaning supervisor cornered her near the supply closet. You left streaks on the executive windows, the woman snapped. I didn't. I cleaned them twice. Well, they weren't perfect. If you want to keep your hours, you'll do better tonight. But my hours were already cut, Talia said, panic rising. If you cut any more, Then work harder. The woman walked away, heels clicking like insults. Talia gripped the mop handle, her knuckles white. She needed those hours. Every dollar mattered. The fear lodged in her chest like a stone. By the time she reached Aiden's floor, she felt like collapsing, but she forced herself to keep moving. Her phone buzzed. A hospital number. Her heart jumped. Hello? A shaky voice answered. Is this Talia Mireles? Your brother was brought in with a sprained wrist. Nothing major, but— Hospital? She whispered. We can't— We need someone to sign him out. Her vision swam. I'll be there. She hung up with trembling fingers. Aiden stepped out of his office at that exact moment. Talia? She jumped. I have to go. My brother— a hospital. I didn't mean to leave early, but— What happened? He got hurt. They won't release him unless I go. I don't know how I'll pay the bill. Her breath hitched. Aiden didn't hesitate. Go. Now. She nodded, blinking back tears, and headed for the elevator. She didn't see Aiden watching her, fists clenched at his sides. She didn't see the concern etched across his usually controlled expression. She didn't see the storm beginning to build, one that would pull both of them under before it ever set them free. And if you're still following every beat, don't forget to like and subscribe. Say hi in the comments and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love that here from you. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and fear, two things Talia had grown familiar with. Mateo sat on the edge of the bed, wrist wrapped tightly. His eyes lit up when he saw her, but shame quickly shadowed them. I'm fine, he said before she could speak. Really? I slipped unloading crates. It's nothing. You shouldn't have been unloading anything, she whispered, brushing his hair back. You shouldn't even be working. He looked away. I didn't want you to worry. Too late. The nurse approached with a clipboard. You're clear to leave. We just need a signature. Talia felt the weight of that clipboard before she even touched it. Signing it meant a bill she could never afford. Not signing wasn't an option. She took the pen. Her hands shook the entire time. When they stepped outside, the cold slapped her cheeks. Mateo looked at her with that expression he tried to hide, fear he didn't want her to see. Are we going to be okay, Tal? She swallowed. We always figure it out. But this time, she didn't know how. They walked home in silence. By the time they reached the apartment, exhaustion pulled at her bones. She tucked Mateo into bed, then sat on the couch with the lights off, staring at the wall. She whispered to herself, just keep going. Don't break. Not yet. The next evening, she forced herself through the diner shift. Every dish felt heavier, every customer louder. Her supervisor scolded her twice, once for moving too slow, and once for sighing too loudly. When she arrived at the corporate building, she was already limping. She hoped Aiden wouldn't be there tonight. She didn't have the strength to pretend she was okay. But luck wasn't on her side. Aiden stepped out of his office at the exact moment she entered the hallway. His eyes dropped immediately to her limp. Talia, His voice sharpened. Stop. I'm fine, she said quickly. I just need to stretch it out. No, he said, closing the distance. You're not fine. She avoided his gaze, gripping the handle of the cleaning cart as if it could hold her together. I really need this job. Please don't write me up or anything. I promise I'll... Talia. His voice softened. I'm not going to punish you for being hurt. That was all it took. Her eyes burned. I can't lose any more hours. She whispered. I can't. Aiden's jaw tightened. Who cut your hours? My supervisor. Why? Because she can. Her voice cracked. Because I don't matter. He stared at her like she'd said something impossible. You do matter. She laughed, but it broke halfway out of her mouth. Not in places like this. Aiden stepped closer, lowering his voice. You're wrong. She didn't know what to do with the sincerity in his tone. It felt dangerous, unfair. Like someone offering her warmth when she'd lived her whole life in the cold. Let me work, she whispered. Please. He hesitated before stepping back. Fine, but if you feel dizzy or if that leg gives out, you stop and tell me. Understood? She nodded. She didn't expect him to linger in the hallway, watching to make sure she didn't collapse. She didn't expect him to carry the heavy trash bags himself when he saw her struggling. And she definitely didn't expect the moment when fatigue hit her like a wave, and she grabbed the wall to steady herself. He was beside her in seconds. Talia? I'm okay, she breathed. Just tired. When did you last sleep properly? What does properly mean? She joked weakly. He didn't smile. You need rest. I need money. The honesty between them felt too raw. She suddenly realized she was trembling. The room blurred slightly. Give me a minute, she whispered. Aiden's hand hovered near her back, not touching, just steadying. Sit down. I can't. If my supervisor sees, I'll handle your supervisor. That startled her more than anything. She sank onto a chair, pressing her palms to her eyelids. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm like this today. Talia, he said softly. Something happened. What was it? She hesitated, but his voice, steady, gentle, broke her last line of defense. My brother, she said. He got hurt. Hospital. They gave me the bill. I don't know how I'm going to pay it. The words hit him visibly. Why didn't you tell someone? Who would I tell? Who would care? She shook her head. Life just keeps getting harder and I keep trying, but it's never enough. For a moment, Aiden said nothing. Then he lowered himself to sit on the floor beside her. An absurd sight. A billionaire in a sharp suit kneeling beside a janitor. Talia, he murmured, you're carrying too much. She let out a laugh that was half sob. Tell life that. He met her eyes and something in his expression shifted. A softness she'd never seen before. You don't have to carry all of it alone. The words hit deeper than he knew. She swallowed hard. Why are you being nice to me? Because you deserve it. No one had said that to her in years. She looked away quickly, afraid she might cry again. Go home, he said gently. Please. I need the hours. He hesitated before standing. Then I'll stay here. If you faint, I'm not letting you do it alone. She stared at him, stunned. You don't have to do that. I know, he said, but I want to. Something inside her, something tired and small, felt seen, but something else whispered, this is getting dangerous. The boardroom was silent, but the kind of silence that rings with blame. Aiden stood at the head of the table, shoulders tense, as graphs and red warning symbols glowed across the big screen. Millions of user accounts compromised, one board member said crisply. Security breach, data leak, headlines practically write themselves. Another leaned back in his chair. This will crush our stock. A third narrowed his eyes. You signed off on the last security budget cut, didn't you, Locke? Aiden's jaw clenched. I didn't sign off on negligence. I warned this team the systems weren't ready. You pushed for going live early. Do you have that in writing? Someone asked. He stared at them. You were in the meetings. That's not in writing. The words tasted bitter. Of course. When things went well, it was the company's success. When things exploded, it was his fault alone. We're going to need a public statement, another said. You'll take responsibility, calm the market, reassure investors. In other words, bleed for us. Aiden nodded once, tight. I'll fix it. You better, the antagonist on the board said, lips curling. You built this empire. Don't be the one to bring it down. He didn't respond. He just walked out, the weight of the company pressing hard against his spine. By the time night fell, the building was mostly empty. The chaos of the day left a residue in the air, tension, urgency, dry coffee, and burnt-out nerves. Aiden's office glowed dimly as he stared at lines of code, messages from legal teams, and early drafts of public apologies. His phone buzzed nonstop. He ignored most of them. His chest felt tight. No one in that boardroom had asked if he was okay. None of them ever did. Around midnight, he heard the squeak of wheels and the soft thud of cleaning supplies in the hallway. Talia. He didn't mean to listen, but he heard her humming. That same shaky little tune she pulled out when she was nervous. He stood in his doorway and watched her for a moment. She moved more slowly tonight. Her shoulders slumped, her limp worse. There was a small tear near the hem of her uniform, and her eyes looked hollow, like she was balancing on the edge of something she couldn't name. Talia, he called softly. She startled, dropping the rag in her hand. Oh, Mr. Locke. Sorry, I didn't mean to be loud. You weren't loud. He paused. You look worse. Wow, she said weakly, trying to smile. You really know how to flatter a girl. He almost smiled back. Almost. What happened today? He asked. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Nothing I can't handle. That's not an answer. She swallowed, her eyes darting away. Rent notice. Final one. Hospital bill. Supervisor said if I mess up one more thing, she'll cut my hours again. I tried to sell my phone, but they offered so little it wouldn't even cover late fees. But it's fine. I'm fine. Her voice shook on the last word. She bent to pick up the rag, but her fingers trembled. It slipped from her hand. Talia, he said, stepping closer. I'm okay, she whispered. I just need to keep moving. If I stop, everything catches up. She tried to walk past him, but her knee gave out. She crumpled. The mop handle clattered to the floor as she dropped to her knees, breath hitching. Her hands went to her face. No, no, she whispered. Not here. Not now. He was beside her before she could push herself back up. Talia. I'm sorry, she choked. I'm so sorry. I'm losing everything, and I don't know what to do anymore. The words tumbled out of her like something that had been locked behind her ribs for months. I'm trying, she said. I'm trying so hard. 2 jobs, no sleep. Every time I think maybe we're okay, something else goes wrong. Rent goes up. Mateo gets hurt. Hours get cut. It's like life is laughing at me. Her voice broke completely. I'm so tired, she whispered. I am so tired. For a moment, the only sound in the office was her quiet, shaky breaths. Aiden lowered himself to sit on the floor beside her, expensive suit pressed against cold tiles. It didn't matter. None of that mattered. Look at me, he said softly. She shook her head. No, I don't want anyone to see me like this. I already do. Slowly she dropped her hands. Her face was blotchy, eyes swollen, tears streaking down her cheeks. She'd never felt so exposed. I hate crying in front of people, she said, voice raw. Then think of me as furniture, he replied quietly. Very expensive, very stressed furniture. A wet laugh escaped her, broken, but real. She sniffed. Why are you being so human? I thought billionaires were supposed to be made of ice. I tried that, he said. Didn't take. She studied him, breathing uneven. You look tired too. He let out a humorless breath. My company was hacked. Millions of users affected. The board wants blood, preferably mine. Her eyes widened. That's huge. Yes. Are you okay? The question stunned him more than any accusation in that boardroom. No one had asked him that all day. No, he admitted finally. Not really. Silence stretched between them, two storms sitting side by side on a cold office floor. I don't know how to fix this, she whispered. My life. Everything. It's like every time I get back up, something kicks me down again. He looked at her, really looked, and saw the way her shoulders curled inward, as if bracing for the next hit. Talia, he said slowly, have you ever noticed that silver linings don't show up when the sky is clear? She frowned through her tears. What? They only show up in storms, he continued quietly. You can't see them without the clouds. It doesn't make the storm easier. But it means the storm isn't all there is. She let the words sink in. Silver linings, she repeated. I don't see any. Neither do I, he admitted. Right now, all I see are problems. Angry board members, headlines, threats. People waiting for me to fail so they can say they saw it coming. Sounds lonely, she murmured. It is, he said. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. So what do you do when it gets this bad? I keep moving, he said, not because I'm strong, because stopping isn't an option. Same, she whispered. They sat there in shared exhaustion. Then he added softly, almost as if he were reminding himself, but storms don't last forever, and if you survive them, sometimes what's left after is better than what came before. Talia swallowed hard. You really believe that? He hesitated, then nodded. I have to. She stared at the floor. My dad used to say, every dog has its day. I used to believe him. Now it just feels like something people say so they don't lose their minds. Maybe, he said. Or maybe it's true, and you just haven't reached your day yet. A small, shaky breath left her chest. What if I don't? Then I'll be wrong, he said. But I'm rarely wrong. She snorted softly. Of course you'd say that. They both fell quiet again. The floor was still cold. Their problems were still real. Nothing magically disappeared, but something shifted. The storm didn't feel quite as lonely. Thank you, she said finally, voice a little steadier. For sitting here. For not pretending you're above all this. I'm not above anything, he said. Especially not the people who keep this place running while everyone else sleeps. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't cry this time. She took a deep breath, then another. Okay, she whispered. I'm going to stand up now. I still have floors to mop. He nodded, rising with her. And I still have a company to save. As she picked up the mop, he watched her with a look that wasn't pity and wasn't charity. It was respect, and something else. Something neither of them was ready to name. Talia didn't expect things to change after that night. Emotional breakdowns didn't magically fix rent notices, hospital bills, or aching knees. But something strange happened the next evening. Aiden waited for her. Not in a dramatic, cinematic way, just standing there in the hallway, leaning against his office door like he'd been pacing for 10 minutes trying to look casual. Talia, he said, as soon as she stepped out of the elevator. She stiffened. Did I miss a spot last night? I cleaned everything, I swear. No. he said firmly. This isn't about cleaning. She blinked, uncertain. He gestured for her to follow him into his office. She hesitated. This room always felt like forbidden territory. But he held the door open, and she stepped inside. He closed the door gently. She stood near the glass wall while he stopped at his desk, fingers tapping against the edge as if searching for the right words. Finally, he said, I want to offer you something. Oh, she whispered. Her heart hammered. A warning? A dismissal? He frowned. Why would I fire you? She stared at him like the answer was obvious. Because people like me don't cry in front of CEOs and keep their jobs. His expression tightened. People like you? She swallowed hard. Janitors. Broke people. Invisible people. Aiden stepped closer, his voice controlled but not cold. You're not invisible. She didn't know what to do with that, so she looked down at her shoes. He exhaled softly. I want to give you a job. Her breath caught. I already have one. A different job. She frowned. What job? My assistant. The words didn't make sense. They floated in the air like a joke she wasn't sure she was allowed to laugh at. She stared at him. Your assistant? As in, sitting outside your office? Taking calls? Scheduling meetings? Speaking to actual important people? Yes. Me? She whispered. Why me? You have, access to Harvard graduates. Women who wear heels that cost more than my rent. Talia, he said slowly, do you think I want someone polished but dishonest? Someone who tells me I'm brilliant when I'm burning out? Someone who wants my money more than my truth? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I need someone who sees people, he continued. Not positions, not power. Someone who sees the things others overlook. You barely know me, she whispered. I know enough, he replied quietly. She stared at him for a long moment, trying to understand the shape of this moment, this offer. It didn't fit her life. Her life was struggle and survival, not opportunities. What would I even do? She asked. I'll train you, he said. I'll walk you through everything. You're quick, you're capable, and you're grounded. I trust you. Her chest tightened. Don't trust me. You'll regret it. I won't. She shook her head, overwhelmed. People like you don't choose people like me. Aiden held her gaze. I chose you because you're the only one in this building who doesn't see me as a paycheck. Silence expanded around them, thick and emotional. She stepped back. I can't accept. His expression didn't change, but she felt the disappointment like a shift in the air. Why? She laughed shakily. Because it makes no sense. Because everyone will think I slept my way into the job. Because they already look at me like I don't belong here. And because if I mess up, I can't afford the fall. Talia. I'm sorry, she whispered. Thank you, but I can't. She turned to leave. But the next day, the building became a storm. Whispers followed her through the hallways before she even clocked in. Is that her? The janitor? Heard Locke's been staying late. Wonder why. He hired her for something, didn't he? Come on, she's pretty in a pathetic sort of way. Men like him love a charity case. Her stomach sank. When she reached the janitorial supply closet, 2 employees were talking at the end of the hall. They didn't see her. I swear she was in his office last night, one whispered. So, maybe she's working overtime. Please, the other scoffed. No one gets near him. If he's letting her inside, it's not for cleaning. Talia froze. Her throat clenched, her vision blurred. She stepped back until her shoulder hit the wall. She gripped the edge of the cart to steady herself. No, 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 not this. Not rumors, not scandal, not lies. She shoved the cart forward and kept walking, trying to breathe normally, but every whisper felt like claws dragging across her skin. When she reached Aiden's office, he sensed something instantly. "What happened?" he asked. "Nothing," she said too quickly. "Just people talking." "What kind of talking?" She shook her head. "It doesn't matter." "It does." "It doesn't," she insisted. "Because you offering me that job? It's already spreading. People think you hired me because... Her voice cracked. He stepped closer. "Talia, look at me." She didn't. "Talia." Her chin trembled as she finally lifted her eyes to his. "I told you this would happen," she whispered. "I told you people would say things." His eyes darkened with something she couldn't name. Anger, guilt, protectiveness. "Let them talk," he said. But she shook her head, tears burning behind her eyes. "Easy for you. You're Aiden Locke. Rumors don't destroy you. They destroy people like me." He took a breath. "We'll handle it." "You can't fix this," she said softly. "You don't understand how fast people turn on someone like me." A door opened at the end of the hallway. The antagonist board member stepped out, eyes narrowing as he took in the scene. Aiden standing too close, Talia looking shaken, perfect fuel for gossip. His smirk was slow and cold. "Locke," he said, "we need to talk, and your janitorial friend can wait outside." Talia felt her stomach drop. Aiden's jaw locked in fury. This was only the beginning. She could feel it. Something ugly and dangerous was rising, and she had no power to stop it. Talia didn't know how the rumors spread so fast. Maybe they didn't need truth, just opportunity. By the time she finished cleaning the executive floor that night, she could feel eyes on her. Not curious, not friendly, predatory. When she passed a pair of analysts whispering near the elevator, one of them didn't even lower her voice. "Imagine being that desperate," the woman said. "Imagine being that stupid," the man replied. They both laughed. Talia kept walking, but her throat closed. She didn't do anything. Nothing happened. She barely even knew Aiden. But lies were quick. When she reached the janitor's break room, her supervisor stood waiting, arms crossed. "Heard you've been getting cozy with the CEO," she said. Talia blinked. "What? No. Who told you that?" "Everyone. And frankly, if you're going to sleep your way up, at least don't involve this department. Makes us look bad." The floor seemed to tilt. I would never." "Sure," the supervisor said, rolling her eyes. "Just keep it out of sight. I don't want any of this drama touching my team." Talia stepped back, voice barely a whisper. "I'm not doing anything wrong." "It's always the innocent ones who say that." The door slammed on the last shred of stability she had. Why is this happening? Why me? By the next week, the whispers weren't whispers anymore. They were daggers. She must be good at something to get a job offer from him. Poor thing probably thinks he actually likes her. No one that rich looks twice at someone like that unless they want something. She's ruining the company culture. Look at her uniform. "I heard the board is investigating." Investigating. That word hit her like a punch. She tried to hide in her work, tried to ignore the way her cheeks burned every time someone smirked in her direction. But rumors had a life of their own, and someone fed them. A jealous board member, the same one who always eyed Aiden with resentment and Talia with disgust. He called her into a conference room one afternoon without warning. No explanation, no chance to prepare. She walked in to find 6 board members seated around the table. Her breath stilled. Aiden wasn't there. "Talia Mireles," one of them began, flipping open a file. "Sit." She sat, hands trembling beneath the table. The antagonist board member leaned forward. "We want to discuss your relationship with Mr. Locke." Talia blinked. "Relationship?" There is no relationship. That's not what we've been hearing, another said. Rumors aren't facts, Talia whispered. Yet they're remarkably consistent, the antagonist replied smoothly. You've been seen entering his office late at night, spending extended periods on his floor, speaking privately with him. He offered you a position, unusual for someone of your background. She, stiffened. My background? Yes, he said, voice dripping mock sympathy. You're a janitor. Nothing wrong with that. But jumping from janitor to executive assistant, it raises questions. I didn't accept the job, she said quickly. I said no. Why? A woman asked, pen hovering. Because I knew people would react like this, she whispered. The antagonist tapped his pen. And yet here we are. Another board member folded his hands. Did Mr. Locke behave inappropriately with you? Talia felt the floor drop out from under her. No, she said quickly. Never. He's been nothing but respectful. No touching? No romantic advances? No offers in exchange for favors? What? She shot up from her seat. No, I would never. The antagonist smirked. We're simply gathering information. You're humiliating me, she said, voice cracking. You're treating me like someone who doesn't belong here, the woman finished calmly, and whose sudden proximity to our CEO requires clarity. Talia's hands shook violently now. Please, stop. I have done nothing wrong. I just clean, that's all. Then why did he choose you? The antagonist asked. Out of hundreds of qualified applicants? I don't know, she whispered, sinking back into her chair. I don't know. Silence fell. Cruel, heavy. Then the door opened. Aiden walked in. His eyes took in the scene instantly, Talia's trembling body, the board's stiff posture, the open file on the table. What? He said, voice quiet and lethal. Is going on here? The antagonist spoke first. We were clarifying some concerns regarding your... You questioned her. Aiden interrupted, stepping forward. Without notifying me. This concerns the company, not your personal... No, Aiden snapped. What concerns the company is a board harassing an employee based on rumors. Talia's breath hitched. Aiden turned to her, expression softening. Talia, did you ask for this meeting? She shook her head. No. His jaw clenched. He turned back to the board. This ends. Now. The antagonist scoffed. You can't protect her from scrutiny. I can protect her from slander, Aiden said coldly, and from power-hungry executives who think their status gives them the right to interrogate someone who has done nothing wrong. The room crackled with tension. Another board member cleared his throat. Aiden, the rumors are lies, he said sharply, and you all know it. The antagonist leaned back smugly. But the optics... Get out, Aiden said. The man blinked. What? Everyone, out. Now. Except her. The board members exchanged looks. They stood, slowly, unwillingly, and filed out of the room. The door shut, leaving Talia and Aiden alone in the silence. She covered her face with her hands. Her breath trembled. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I didn't mean for this to happen. You did nothing wrong. They think I'm ruining your career, she said, voice cracking. And maybe I am. Maybe this is too much. Maybe you should have never talked to me. Talia, I can't stay, she whispered. I'm making everything worse. His eyes widened. No, don't do this. Don't walk away. She shook her head, tears slipping down her cheeks. I have to. You don't. I do, she breathed. I resign. Aiden froze, as if the air had been knocked out of him. Talia, he said, voice low, raw, unheard by anyone except her. Please don't leave. She stepped backward, hugging herself, breaking. I'm sorry, she whispered. But this is the only way to stop the damage. And for the first time since she met him, Aiden Locke looked helpless. If this scene crushed you even a little, like this video and subscribe, because the fallout from this moment, it's just beginning. The next morning, Talia woke with swollen eyes and a chest that felt bruised from crying. Resigning wasn't a decision, it was survival. She couldn't let herself destroy Aiden's career, even if he didn't see it that way. Mateo stepped out of the bathroom, toothbrush sticking out of his mouth, staring at her with a worried frown. You didn't sleep. I'm fine, she said automatically. You're lying. She forced a weak smile. Well, I'm still fine. He didn't press her, but the silence between them held more concern than words. When she left for her freelance cleaning gig, just one shift someone posted online for cash, her body felt heavier than the bag she carried. She wasn't heading to the corporate building tonight. No shiny floors, no quiet hallways, no Aiden. She tried not to think about that last part. She failed. Meanwhile, across town, Aiden's office was a battlefield. He slammed a report onto the conference table. This proves it, he said, voice cold enough to frost glass. The breach originated from the department overseen by Hansen. The antagonist board member stiffened. Are you accusing me of negligence? I'm accusing you of covering up your own shortcuts, Aiden said sharply. You insisted on launching the update early, knowing the infrastructure wasn't secure. A ripple of murmurs passed through the room. That isn't true, Hansen snapped. Aiden tapped a file. Your emails say otherwise. Silence. Aiden leaned forward. You dragged an innocent employee into a rumor storm to divert attention from your mistakes. You weaponized gossip to protect yourself. Hansen's face drained of color. Another board member cleared his throat. Locke. If this is accurate. It is, Aiden said. Legal has already confirmed. Hansen sputtered. You can't fire me. The board. You fired yourself when you tried to destroy someone to save your ego. With icy precision, Aiden slid a termination document across the table. Security will escort you out. Hansen stood abruptly, chair screeching across the floor. This isn't over, he hissed at Aiden. You made a mistake choosing her over your own board. Aiden didn't blink. She was the only one in this building who told me the truth. The room fell silent. Hansen left, furious footsteps echoing like thunder behind him. Aiden didn't feel victorious. He felt empty. He stared at the door long after Hansen disappeared, thinking of Talia, her small frame shaking, her eyes full of humiliation, the way she said, I can't stay. I'm making everything worse. She was wrong, and it was killing him that she didn't know that. Across the city, Talia was scrubbing the floors of a cramped apartment belonging to a man who kept criticizing her work. You missed a spot. Sorry, she murmured, kneeling again. No, look. Now you made a streak. Sorry. Do you even know how to clean? Her breath tightened. Yes. Yes. Well, doesn't seem like it. She rubbed harder, pressing until her wrist throbbed. When she left, the man shoved cash into her hand and shut the door before she could thank him. Her throat felt tight. Her eyes stung. It wasn't Aiden's building, where she at least felt respected, even for a moment. She walked home slowly, clutching her jacket around her. When she reached the apartment, Mateo looked up from his homework. Did you get paid? Yeah, she said, but it's not much. He studied her face. You quit your night job, didn't you? She froze. What? You're home early, and your uniform isn't dirty, and your eyes look like you lost something. She let out a shaky breath and sat on the couch. I had to leave, Mateo. Why? Because they were saying things about me, about the CEO, and it was getting bad. I didn't want them to drag me or hurt him. Mateo fell quiet. Did he hurt you? No, she whispered instantly. Never. He helped me. More than he should have. So why leave? Her voice wavered. Because people like me don't survive rumors like that. Mateo looked down, fists tight. We need you to survive. The words hit her like a blade. I know, she whispered. Later that night, she stood in the tiny kitchen staring at the nearly empty shelf. She'd eaten only once today. She didn't feel hungry, just numb. She thought of Aiden's voice saying, I trust you. She thought of the way he sat on the floor with her during her breakdown, how he said her name like it mattered. She shook the thoughts away. He wasn't hers. He didn't belong in her world. She washed her face, but exhaustion clung to her skin. She crawled into bed fully dressed, unable to summon the strength to change. She whispered into the dark, I can't keep doing this. She didn't realize how loud her voice had cracked until Mateo sat up. Talia? You're not alone, he said softly, crawling into the bed beside her like he used to when he was little. I know it feels like it, but you're not. She put an arm around him, eyes burning. Thanks, kid. The next morning, she woke to an envelope shoved under the door. Not a bill this time. No address. No name. Just her first name in handwriting she didn't recognize. Talia. Her heartbeat picked up. She opened it carefully. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Every dog has its day. This time, it's yours. Her breath caught. Below that, an offer. A job at a newly founded training academy. Higher pay, stability, growth, a future. And beneath that, a second page. A scholarship offer for Mateo. Her fingers shook as she reached the bottom of the letter. A handwritten note. You don't belong in storms forever. Let me help you build a life where you can breathe. Aiden. Talia's knees nearly gave out. He didn't replace her. He didn't forget her. He didn't believe the rumors. He believed in her. Talia stared at the letter for a long time, so long her fingers went numb from holding it. She kept reading the lines over and over again, afraid they might disappear if she blinked too slowly. Every dog has its day. This time, it's yours. A lump rose in her throat. She traced the handwriting with her thumb. It wasn't typed. It wasn't stamped. It was real. Personal. Intentional. Mateo came up behind her, towel around his neck from his morning shower. What's that? A job offer, she whispered. His eyes widened. Another cleaning gig? She shook her head slowly. No, a real job. A better job. With training and benefits. Mateo dropped the towel. Seriously? Tal, that's amazing. Who sent it? She hesitated. Her voice softened. Aiden. Mateo froze. The CEO guy? The one you said wasn't like everyone else? She nodded. What did he say? She swallowed hard, lifting the letter. He wants to help us. Mateo grabbed the scholarship page, eyes darting wide. This says full tuition. For me. Full. How, why? Because he's kind, she whispered, voice cracking. Because he didn't believe any of the things they said about me. Because he saw something in me I still can't see in myself. Mateo hugged her so tightly she lost her breath. Tal, you have to take it. I don't know, she whispered. After everything? After the rumors? What if I just cause more trouble? You won't, he said. And even if you do, he chose you anyway. She closed her eyes. He did. Not because he pitied her, not because he needed something, but because he saw her. She folded the letter with trembling hands. Okay, she whispered. I'll go. Mateo grinned through tears. Finally. The training academy was inside a renovated wing of Locke Industries, bright hallways, fresh paint, welcoming staff. Nothing like the room she used to mop at night. Still, her stomach twisted as she walked toward the reception desk, clutching the letter like a lifeline. The receptionist looked up. "Hi, can I help you?" Um, I'm... My name is Talia Mireles. I got this." She handed her the letter. Recognition sparked in the receptionist's eyes. "Oh, 1 second. I'll let Mr. Locke know you've arrived." Talia's breath caught. "He's here?" "He's been waiting all morning," the receptionist said with a small smile. "You can sit." But before Talia could move, a familiar voice echoed behind her. "Talia." She turned. Aiden stood at the end of the hallway, hands in his pockets, chest rising with an exhale that looked like he'd been holding it for days. His eyes swept over her. Relief, softness, something else quietly flickering under the surface. Talia's throat tightened. "Aiden," she whispered. He approached slowly, as if worried she might vanish if he stepped too quickly. When he stopped a few feet away, his voice lowered. "You came." "I thought about not coming," she admitted. His brows drew together slightly. "Why?" She let out a shaky laugh. "Because I was scared. Because I wasn't sure if this—" She lifted the letter. "Was real. Or if I deserved it." "You deserved more than I offered," he said. "I just hope it's enough." She opened her mouth, but the emotion in her chest tangled the words. Aiden glanced toward a quiet nook in the hallway. "Can we talk? Privately?" She nodded, following him into a small lounge area filled with natural light. They sat facing each other on opposite couches, but the space felt too small. Or maybe it was the moment. "Talia," he said softly, "I should have protected you sooner. From the rumors, from the board, from all of it." "You did protect me," she whispered. "That's why I had to leave. I didn't want to make things worse for you." "You didn't." His jaw tightened. "You were never the problem." She looked down at her hands. "I didn't want to be a burden." "You weren't." His voice deepened with sincerity. "You're the only person who's spoken to me without fear, without an agenda, without needing anything from me." She hesitated. "Maybe I did need something." "What?" "Someone who didn't see me as disposable." A sharp breath left him, quiet but full of impact. "You're not disposable," he said. "Not to anyone. Certainly not to me." Something warm flickered in her chest. She whispered, "Why did you send the letter?" "When someone walks away because they think they're ruining your life," he said softly, "you don't let them keep believing that." She blinked rapidly, trying not to cry again. "My brother, he got the scholarship page. He's never looked so hopeful." Aiden smiled faintly. "He deserves a chance." "So do you," she said before thinking. He stilled. "A chance for what?" "To have people beside you who aren't trying to take from you." She paused. "You look lonely most of the time, even when you're surrounded by hundreds of employees." Silence settled. Heavy, deep, real. "Talia," he said quietly, "I didn't send the offer because I felt sorry for you. I sent it because I believe in you, and because I wanted you back in a place where you're seen, where you can grow." Her voice trembled. "Are you sure?" "Yes." She looked at him. Really looked. And something inside her finally unclenched. She nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll do it. I'll take the job." Relief washed over his face so clearly it startled her. "Good," he said softly. "I'm glad." For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Aiden whispered, "I'm really glad you're here." Her heart fluttered in a way she wasn't emotionally prepared for, and for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel like she was standing in a storm. She felt like she was standing at the edge of something new, something safer, something brighter. Talia never imagined what stability felt like. Real stability, not just a temporary break between disasters, but a foundation she could stand on without fear of the ground collapsing beneath her. At the training academy, she learned fast, faster than anyone expected. She absorbed everything: communication, scheduling systems, event planning, digital tools, leadership modules. Every skill, every assignment, every challenge felt like a promise that she was building a future she once thought belonged to other people. And she wasn't invisible here. Coworkers greeted her with genuine warmth. No whispers, no judgment, no smirks at her uniform or at the way she carried herself. For the first time, she belonged somewhere without having to shrink herself to fit. Her phone buzzed one afternoon. A message from Matteo. "Tal, look." He sent a picture of a progress report. Straight A's across every subject. She covered her mouth, tears pricking her eyes. Matteo followed with another message. "I can't believe this is my life." "Thank you." She typed back. "Keep going. This is only the beginning," just like it was only the beginning for her. Aiden visited the academy regularly. At first, he came to check on operations. Eventually, he came because the building felt different when she was there. More grounded, more human, more hopeful. One evening, the two of them walked out together after reviewing program updates. The soft glow of hallway lights cast a warm outline around him. He looked calmer than she'd ever seen him. "You've changed things here," he said. She gave a small laugh. "I've only been here a few months." "And the entire department works better," he replied. "People communicate more, they're motivated, there's less tension." "That's because you gave them a space to grow," she said. He shook his head. "No. That's because you showed me a way to rebuild without fear." She looked up at him. "You rebuilt the company, Aiden. You fought back." He hesitated. "Because I wanted to prove you wrong." She blinked. "Wrong about what?" "About being a burden." His voice was soft, low. "You weren't. Having you around didn't hurt me. Losing you did." The words lodged in her chest like a stone, and then slowly melted. "Aiden." She didn't know what to say. He glanced away for a moment, gathering himself. "Can I show you something?" She nodded. He led her into a small, private room near the academy's east wing. Papers were scattered across a long table, blueprints, sketches, designs she recognized from months ago. Her breath caught. "These are your architectural designs," he finished. "The ones I abandoned." "You brought them back." "You brought them back," he corrected, meeting her gaze. "You reminded me I was allowed to dream again." Talia stepped closer, fingertips brushing the edge of a drawing. "What is it?" "A community center," he said. "Free tutoring, meals, mentorship programs. A place for kids who grew up like you. Like Matteo. Like..." He paused. "Like me too, in some ways." Her eyes softened. "It's beautiful." "Help me finish it," he said. Not as a command, not as a CEO, as someone asking for partnership. "Your insight, your experience, your heart. I want them in this project." She swallowed. "I'd be honored." Aiden exhaled slowly, like he'd been holding that breath for months. They worked together for hours. Sketching, adjusting, brainstorming. Their shoulders brushed once and Talia felt her pulse jump. Another time, their eyes met, and neither looked away. She wasn't imagining it. Something was shifting, something tender. Eventually, the designs were done for the night. They stepped back, standing side by side. Aiden spoke first. "Talia, there's something I've wanted to say." Her heart thudded. "What is it?" "You didn't just change this department," he said quietly. "You changed me." Her breath caught. "You reminded me that being human isn't a weakness," he continued. that storms don't make us unworthy, they make us honest. She blinked back tears. Aiden, and I don't want to pretend anymore, he whispered, about how I feel. Her chest tightened. How do you feel? He stepped closer, slowly, giving her space to move away. She didn't. He said it gently, carefully, with a kind of reverence she'd never heard directed at her. I care about you, not because you needed help, not because of everything we survived, but because you're you. Brave, brilliant, honest. And you make this life feel, he searched for the word, real. Her breath shook. I thought you'd never see me that way. Talia, he said softly, you were the only person I saw clearly. It wasn't a dramatic confession. It was tender, earnest, true. She stepped a little closer, just enough for him to know the feeling wasn't one-sided. You didn't save me, she whispered. You just gave me a chance. I walked the road myself. His lips curved. I know. And I care about you too, she said finally. More than I meant to. His laugh was soft, relieved. Good. He didn't kiss her. He didn't need to. The connection between them was already sealed in something deeper than impulse. Months later, she stood on a stage under brilliant lights, the moment we began with. But this time, she understood the weight of it. The announcer spoke. Winner of the Humanitarian Rising Leader Award, Talia Mireles. She stepped forward, applause roaring like a second heartbeat. Mateo wiped his eyes from the front row. Aiden watched her with quiet pride. She took the microphone, her voice steady. Every cloud has a silver lining, she said. But sometimes, you have to become the silver lining for yourself. The audience rose to their feet. And maybe, just maybe, this was her day after all. If you enjoyed Talia's journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us keep telling stories that stay with you long after they end. See you in the next story.